Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel, Reader Woman. My name's Judy, and I wanted to talk about the ebooks that I purchased in 2024. That they're a very discreet group, completely separate from the physical books that are in my possession. And so I thought it'd be fun to go through it. I purchased them via Kindle. The majority of them are authors I really, really love. The books I bought, I'm not sure all of them are books that I absolutely love, but I was glad not to have to wait 6 months before being able to borrow them from my library. So I started off with buying Mhairi Balogh's Always Remember, which is book 3 in her Ravenswood novel series, which she likes to take characters that are, how'd you put it, in crisis in some way. And so she starts off this particular series with a family in crisis. There's like 6 kids, mom and a dad. Their children are, the oldest are grown, and the eldest legitimate son finds out that his father's having an affair and his mistress is at the party that they're having, and he doesn't tell his dad in secret. He just blurts it out, and it causes ripples in everybody's life. And so that's what she's doing with her series, is following those ripples and how everyone's life was torn apart. So this particular one concerns Ben, who is actually the eldest child, but he was illegitimate. And the Lord, I can't remember their names, sorry. The Lord and his, before he married his wife, let her know that he had an illegitimate son, and she agreed to raise the boy because he was no longer supposedly involved with his mistress at the time, who I think died. I'm not quite sure. So it follows Ben and his journey with a daughter, and whom he'd gone to war with his second brother, the heir to the title, and they went to war against Napoleon, and went there for many years before being recalled back home because the father had died, and the second son became, had to take over the title and the responsibility. And so his brother Ben followed him back. And I thought Ben was quite an interesting character. His relationship with his, he found a woman who, they agreed to have a relationship. And then when she became pregnant, I believe they got married. I could be wrong. I believe they got married. But their relationship wasn't romantic. It was more practical. And yeah, so for him, having a daughter, being illegitimate himself, wanting to establish himself, and then the stresses of trying to find romantic love. It was quite interesting. I enjoy the series. I, of course, love her novels, and she'll definitely continue to be a regular buy. The next one was Sabrina Jeffries, Accidentally His. It was the 3rd and last book, I believe, in the Designing Debutantes. I enjoyed the series. I think I can wait for her books to come out on the library so I can check it out. So I don't know that I'll be reading her, right as they come out, but she's definitely somebody I enjoy reading, but just not spending my money on. The next author is Olivia Dade, whom I absolutely love. As a plus-size woman, reading plus-size novels is amazing. It makes you realize how the plus-size body is not, represented, or it's only starting to be represented in the romance genre. I mean, you may have somebody with a little bit of extra weight, or you may have somebody who has, who's body conscious, and, but she takes it to a very different level. She takes it to a real level. And I absolutely love her. The book I bought was At First Spite, a Harlot's Bay novel, and it was the first novel in her series. It's going to take place in Harlot's Bay. Did I love the book? Not as much as I've loved other things by her, but I will definitely be continuing to read her. She's going to be an automatic reread, or read rather, buy. An automatic buy. The next one, Kate Clayborn, The Other Side of Disappearing. Kate Clayborn is somebody I really, really enjoy. She normally gets a little tear out of my eye somewhere along the lines. Some people may call it sentimental. I just call it a good romance. Because with a good romance, you're reading it not just for the romance. You're also reading it because it touches your heart some way. One of the main characters is having to go through real life drama, overcoming some kind of obstacle, and yeah, it gets your heart, at least in my case. So I don't really remember The Other Side of Disappearing, but I will definitely continue to be reading Kate Clayborn. I don't know if I'll buy it the first week it's out, though, her next one. Minerva Spencer, an author I very much enjoy. And she came out with Aurelia, the Bellamy Sisters, Book 4, which is about the Bellamy family, who are very down on their luck because their father is gambling and whoring away whatever money he comes across, leaving his family destitute. So the daughters are all kind of separated, trying to both find their way, but also how to protect their sisters and little brother. And yeah, it's quite an interesting series. I will not be buying the next one because she is now putting them out on Kindle Unlimited. So, but she's an automatic read for me. Then I bought Emily Henry's Funny Story. It was enjoyable. It was good. I really like Emily Henry. She really touches my heart. And normally, this one not so much. It was a cute story, but, and I probably will be buying her again. Just FYI. Then the next one, MC Beaton. And I'm sorry I haven't been, giving the difference between historical or Regency versus modern day romance. But MC Beaton, who is Marion Chesney Beaton, she was, I don't even know if she's alive or not. I think so. But she was writing romances in the late 70s and 80s. I started reading about a series and I enjoyed it. So I continued on. And then all of a sudden these things became super expensive. Like $6, $7 each, which Beaton she transitioned from like the Regency romance whole thing into mysteries. You might know her as the author of Agatha Raisin murder mysteries. So, and to be honest, I think her talent does lie more in murder mystery than romance. She's interesting, but she's not exactly romantic. She has people screaming, and she has people misunderstanding, and just none of the subtleties of the genre you normally see, and which is okay. But she has a good sense of history. She mentioned Mary Brunton with one of her, I think, Self-Control, as a novel that her heroine was going to be reading. And, I enjoyed that because it was, historically correct. And she does both Regency, Victorian, Edwardian, and, I enjoy her, but then I don't know that I really want to spend much more money because it's, expensive for something I'm not really going to reread or touches my heart. And yet, this is the second time I'm doing this video, when I was doing a little research, because I'm going to be adding the book covers to this video, which I bought Minerva, To Dream of Love, Henrietta, and Quadrille. And then just finding those, all of a sudden I was like, oh, there's a sale on this book. I'll have to buy that. Oh, that's a sale. So I bought 2 more books when I was trying to just look her up. So there's something a little addictive, but she's not completely convincing. You want the story told from the heart, and she tells it from the skin. And so she's an interesting author. She definitely keeps my attention going. So anyways, onward. Alice Coldbreath. I absolutely adore this author, and I really hope she gets more footage in the door as being a good author. I normally love her medieval romances. The one I purchased is called A Foolish Flirtation, and it's a Victorian romance. It was kind of interesting because it took a character from, she's also had a Victorian prize fighters three book series, and one of the characters in the first book, who was the villain, she took him as her hero and turned things around. So it was interesting. I just reread it lately. I love her writing. I think she does a good job with her story, her character reveals, and yeah, but not my favorite, but I was glad to have read it. The next one is Lynsay Sands, A Highlander's Return. What can I say? I'm into medieval romance. And her medieval romance, I would definitely continue purchasing. Then my next to last one that I purchased was Robin Hobb. And I bought the Farseer Trilogy, which was a 3-book bundle, which has The Assassin's Apprentice, Royal Assassin, and Assassin's Quest. I really loved Assassin's Apprentice, and I couldn't believe I had missed this. I mean, how many, decades later, and I just am reading this. But, I've been thinking about it. I do prefer usually fantasy over sci-fi. But what also kind of got me is when I was, really heavily into reading fantasy, I would look for a female lead character, which there are lots now, but in the late 80s and 90s, there were less. So I think that's probably why I never really looked at Robin Hobb, but phenomenal first book. I've heard about the third one, but I'm still in the midst of book 2. So anyways, enjoying that. And my last book that I'd forgotten that I had purchased but added to my list is very MacFarlane. You Belong to Me, which was the second part of a book that she had previously written. It was like a culminating story. The first one, love interest, they got together and then they broke up. And then at the very end, he's knocking on her door. And then the second book takes him knocking on the door to the end. And once again, she is a modern romance author who really can touch your heart. This particular book, not so much, but it wasn't so much about two people finding each other as how can two people stay together. So anyways, it was good. I enjoyed reading it. And that comes to the end of the ebooks that I actually purchased for 2024. I am working hard on lowering my book purchasing costs so that when I buy a book, it means something to me, not just to have it on my shelf so I can read it. You know, I mean, I've got books on my shelf that I bought 30 years ago and I still haven't read it. So when I do get a book and I put it on my shelf, I want it to mean something. So anyways, and ebooks, you know, they're so easy to buy. As I know, you can suddenly end up spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars when you really weren't planning on it. So anyways, no, I have no actual desire to stop buying books, but at the same token, I'm proud of myself for having kept it to a nice, controllable amount. So anyways, good for me. Take care. Hope you're reading something interesting. And if you are, let me know. Take care. Bye-bye.